taking 2 to see if this actually works, if I got this up and working. Let me check the sound. Awesome. Seems like we should be good to go. I think I got it. So thanks for being patient, guys. Those that are back, thanks for being patient. Those that have left, no worries. We're just going to deal with this mic today. So I want to test something because it was lagging. I do want to make sure that that's working. A little smaller than I like, but it's working. Doesn't seem to be causing a major lag or anything like that. Good to go. Let me try one thing, guys. Let's see what that does one more time. Tolerable. I'm gonna call that okay. We're gonna call this okay. And we're going to head on out to feed the chickens. Let me double check the sound one more time. Good to go. Well, good enough, or whatever we're going to call that today. We're going to say okay. So if you're wondering what happened, is my last phone, my phone that I usually do all the streaming and such with, for some reason, is not working now. So back to an old standby. Those that know me know that I have a plan. I pretty much have a backup plan for everything that I do. If there's a backup plan to a backup plan, I have one. So today we're going to talk a little bit about crypto. We're going to talk a little bit about farming. We're going to talk about how crypto has helped by farming. And we're going to talk a little bit about just independence and life in general. And I think that's where crypto comes into a lot of play with what we're going to be having a conversation about. So, and when I say crypto, that, you know, don't mistake in that. Such like that. So let me give this popcorn to Sylvia. Let's get the we'll start on the projects. Hi, Miss Sylvia. Let me give the ducks and chickens a little bit of popcorn first, and then we'll dump you a nice big bag of popcorn. Over to Miss Sylvia. Big happy pig, Miss Sylvia. Got some mud right here, Sylvia, so try to get outside the mud. And I failed. I covered the pig in popcorn. But grab her some popcorn. We're good to go. Let's head on. I'm gonna put this over here, and let's go feed the bunnies, feed the chickens, get some water, chit-chat. So, we all have our favorite crypto. Right now, I am very smitten with Monero. For those that aren't familiar with Monero, Monero is one of the few privacy coins. It's been around quite a few years. Of course, it's not the first. You have Zcash and Dash. And Private PIVX, Privix, and then you also have Verge. So Verge is actually the first privacy coin I used to own. But Verge is not doing, it's just kind of not doing a whole lot. So I'm not focused as much on Verge as some of the other stuff. But Monero and how it's being delisted and some of the other stuff is the reason I think that's interesting. So they're saying a lot of the same things, the big wigs, the big elites. The language about Monero is very, very similar to the early language that you see about Bitcoin. And the price being at a very affordable price for most of us right now. I think the coin right now is like $135 USD. So that's actually within a reasonable price range. I remember when Bitcoin and such had hit that and thought it was a big deal. So I say that as in I'm actually investing in Monero right now because it is actually living up to the promise that Bitcoin, well, a lot of us that originally got into Bitcoin thought Bitcoin was going to be. So, very, very interesting. Now, of course, I still have some Bitcoin. I still have some Litecoin. And right now, with all the volatility that we've been having this last couple weeks, especially this last week and a half. So I've been really playing around with the volatility and actually been doing very well. When it's volatile, I day trade, and so I try to pay attention to what's going on with the market. I pay attention to what people are talking about on Twitter, and then also spend some time and I watch the coins and I figure out where the bots are and what the bots do and how the bots gobble up things. So a lot of times you'll see that you'll put in a big order and the bots will either go above it or below it, and then they'll gobble up that order. And so sometimes you, as an individual, can actually play the bots instead of them always playing us. You get them to buy up your low orders. So it actually been a long time since I had put my own money back into crypto. But this last week I had just put some more money. I put about $750 back into crypto. Again, I have more than that sitting in assets, just sitting around from being in crypto for so many years. But I put about $750 back into crypto, and been playing around with it, doing some buying and selling, some trading, seeing what I can get it up to. So my goal right now is, I'm trying to buy and sell enough crypto so I can purchase some more bees. Because next year I really want to go. I want to go gung-ho. I've got some ideas with bees, so I need to pick up some new equipment. And I've got a new experiment, depending on how well that last bee colony that I have, if it makes it through the winter, if my tactic will work or not. So I've been using crypto for my bees. I've actually been using crypto for most of my farm for the last couple of years. So I buy and sell the crypto, and I use that to pay for everything that I need to hear running with my nonprofit and farm. So crypto has been supporting my life as a passive income. So it's been supporting my life as a passive income for a little while now. And I've done little outside jobs here and there. So, hey, any word? Hope you're having a wonderful day. So crypto's been working very well. Now, unfortunately, I haven't convinced a lot of the people around here, a lot of my friends, to get into. I've been teaching them a little bit. We've been putting apps on their phones, and I've been teaching people a little bit. What I really like about some of the more privacy cryptos and such is, especially here in a little community, we can just get crypto to circle around. We could do the same thing with silver coins and such like that as well. But crypto, most everybody has phones and such like that. So we've been trying to circulate some crypto around, just trying to teach people how we can keep it and how it actually is money and can be used as a money. And it's kind of a way so that, we're not having to be so reliant on the government and, giving them all the information of everything that we're doing. one day I'd like to get my feed place to get onto crypto, because that would make things a lot easier for me. Because that's feed right now is my biggest expense, but the bee people, I'm going to talk a little bit about getting the bee people on crypto, since I've been buying bees from the regular people every year. So and you know, one of the easier ones is I use some of the really basic wallets. So like Tron is one of the coins that I use to just teach people how to use crypto, because the Tron wallet works so well. It's a good staking coin. It doesn't fluctuate that much. It usually stays worth between, you know, a couple cents here and there, which makes it an easy coin for to get people to begin to invest in, because you know, they can come in with like, you know, 50 bucks, and they have enough that they feel like they can actually do stuff with. Okay, so all the buns are fed in here, so I'm going to take this with me. So we'll give water to everybody in just a few minutes, but we got everybody fed in here. So now we're going to head over to the big barn. We're going to get the big barn fed, and then we'll head over to the bunny apartments and get those guys in the bunny apartments fed. The other reason I like crypto is, so personally, I try to, I use one credit card, and the one credit card I use is because I have it set up that it gives me a good amount of points, but I pay off that credit card on a regular basis. And actually, the only reason I initially got that credit card is for Lisa, for emergencies, if she was out and about, because Lisa is not very good at carrying cash, and they don't necessarily always want to have everything on a debit card. So we initially got that credit card, and then when I played around with it and figuring stuff out, and I figured out that I could actually make some money off of it based on our habits, on how we buy stuff, and so I use it. So now I use that card to actually make me money, and then the money that it makes me, I take all that money and I then reinvest it back into some type of crypto. Now, ultimately, what I want to do with some of the more crypto stuff is after I build up the assets of the crypto to a certain particular point, I do want to invest that crypto in the land, because land is probably one of the best investments that you can make, especially if you've got it figured out with ways for that land to generate you some additional revenue by either renting it out, or knowing that's going to increase in value, or having an asset on that that's going to generate you some more money, or a place for you to future retire. Because sometimes your best bet is to buy something now, and then you can use that to make your life better in the future. So you know, you can have your retirement property paid for by the time you're a kid. You know, maybe still rent out the apartment, build a nice house, and then have your retirement apartment ready to go for when you get older. And maybe even the place that you move your parents to for a while and have them there. And so they don't have the same type of bills and that kind of stuff. They're maintaining it, they're keeping it up and functioning. And then you know that you're ultimately going to retire there, and you have a nice, safe, secure, good place in an area that you want to live. With all of us and having all of us different life scenarios and such like that, one of the things I was thinking is, you know, instead of putting your parents away, lock them away in a home someplace, it might just be best to take that investment money, and build it a piece of property for yourself, and then hire yourself a live-in nurse, like a live-in nanny for your parents, and have them live there, maintain everything. Then you're providing a house for those. You're having what you know is going to be great care, because you're also providing lodging and such for that other individual. And then when your parents are no longer around, or when you're ready to do something else, you've had your property taken care of. It's just a completely different way of thinking than we think today. Oh, I want to give a reminder to all you guys out there. So we're going to be moving our Tuesday night shows to Wednesday nights now. So it's a better schedule for all of us. So Wednesday nights are when we're going to be doing our 3 hours a morning crazy shows. So I'll probably be changing the name of the show to Midnight in the Garden. So, and we'll just be talking about all that kind of fun stuff that we normally talk about. And I'm just thinking about, while it is important that we talk to you guys and have this show, I do need to make sure I remember who I fed, get all that kind of stuff in, and then do everything in the order that I need to do. Because, feeding the animals and making sure all my animals are healthy and hungry, are healthy and not hungry, and are living the most luxurious version of their life that they possibly can is always my #1 goal. But I do appreciate all of you guys tagging along. It is always nice having, even if you guys can't be here, it's always nice having folks to chit-chat to as I do my fun adventures. So it's slightly snowing right now. We're supposed to get a little bit more snow in the very near future this evening. But nothing too crazy. My hat looks absolutely silly and feels silly on my head. So we're getting into the bunny apartments. This is where all those baby bunnies. If you guys watch the other stream and you guys see all of the baby bunnies on there, this is the stream. These are the area where all of those baby bunnies live. We got lots of baby bunnies everywhere. Lots of baby bunnies. So I will say some of you might be receiving your check from the government, your hush money. And I do suggest if you don't absolutely need that hush money, instead of doing silly things and just, buying silly toys and such with it, it might be worth using some of that hush money to get into crypto and to play a little bit in the crypto game. If you need help with that, let me know. I can pretty much help most anybody in the English-speaking countries because I know how to do it pretty much in the UK. I know how to do it in in Australia, here in the United States, in Canada. I think I can even help you if you're in Mexico and such like that. If you are outside of the United States, I would highly suggest doing everything through Binance. If you're inside the United States, there's a couple other different tricks to do. Coinbase is probably your best bet, and everybody should probably start off with Cash App. It's one of the easiest ways to get crypto into without being charged crazy fees, and without like a bunch of people, without like necessarily pinpointing to the government that you're initially getting into crypto. I've not tried the PayPal tactic yet, but I guess you can buy crypto with PayPal. Again, though, remember, we're buying in. If you're using PayPal, if you're using things like that, we're just buying in. We're not actually going to be storing any crypto really on there. We're kind of just using those as buy-ins to get that money onto exchanges so that you can be doing stuff. Maybe you'll keep a small balance on a Cash App or something like that, just so you can, it's fun to watch, but the idea is to buy in, get it in there so you can get in trading, and whatever crypto you're not going to trade, as soon as you get it into the crypto that you want, you're going to be pulling it off of the exchange onto a wallet. So either a cold storage wallet. Cold storage just means that it's offline. It's like a paper wallet, something like that. When I say paper wallet, it literally is made of paper. So you'll be either pulling it online or you'll be putting it onto a digital wallet or a hot wallet, like your phone or a ledger or something else that we have a conversation about and we trust. Personally, there's a lot of good wallets out there. I've played around with over the last 10 years or so. I've been playing around with a variety of different types of wallets. So I started off with just Bitcoin paper wallets, but I also used to actually keep things. I've actually lost money on exchanges twice. So I was part of the Mt. Gox hack, so I lost some Bitcoin there. And then during the hack of the Cryptopedia, the New Zealand exchange, I actually had some coins on there as well, and so I lost some. So I pretty much only money that's on the exchange now is only there because I'm trading it. If I'm storing it for a long term or anything like that, I get it off the exchange because, well, like I said, I've had 2 hacks in my life. I've had it happen twice to me. And it's just not bueno. Okay, let me take this back to the barn. We're going to take this back to the barn, and then we're going to go feed chickens, and then we'll come back and give everybody a little bit of water. So maybe wondering why I turned my crypto into supplies for my farm. Well, it's just, so my farm is my #1 goal, always. To teach people how to grow food, to grow my own food, to raise my animals, to keep all of this particular part of the life that I've chosen as luxurious as possible, because as much as I like roughing it, and I am a techie at heart, and there is some stuff that I do enjoy having. And so I do make sure that, I take care of my farm, but I also want to make sure that I make farm life easier for me with some of the stuff I do. So having the proper technology, having the proper tools. So I've done really basic, like Appalachian, not having a lot of money farming, and I've built a lot, and I know how to do some of that kind of stuff, but I will say it does make it easier when you have a little bit of financing to be able to start your projects. And in the long haul, you'll actually save money. But, I think we've had conversations about when I built the fences and such, how the first couple times, they worked, they did what I needed, but I was always chasing those fences. I was always repairing them. And I was kind of breaking down, in the long haul, how much money I spent before I put in the new fence. And I probably spent a little bit more money than I would have if I just would have bought the fence and done it right. But that's where you have to make the decision. Sometimes you have to find that balance of what's good to do now and what's good to do in the near future. So you want future you to look back at past you and think that you were really cool and not some horrible. You don't want future you to think that current you is an idiot. sadly, it is actually really easy for future you to see past you as an idiot. I'm gonna check that real fast, guys. My phone's starting to be silly, so I just want to make sure that it's not as silly as I think. Okay, we're good. That's all I was checking for, guys. Since I switched over to this other phone, I haven't done. Yeah, no, I know this phone is it's not jiving right today. My other one just stopped working. Looks like it's melting. That's funny. Yeah, the phone I'm using right now is my V35. So it is it's an older phone. And it's an older phone, and it doesn't and for some reason it doesn't like the chat as much as the other phone as my other phone does. But my other phone, I was just getting no sound. You couldn't hear me. Yeah. I thought sound was kind of an important aspect when you're talking. I've done a stream without sound already once. Always jerry rigging, always rednecking something here on the farm, always trying to make something work, maybe push it a little bit past its boundaries, making it do something that I wasn't necessarily, it wasn't originally intended to do. Always push the boundaries. I want my technology to be, I want to do a little bit more than my technology wants. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So back to just general crypto. So if you know nothing about crypto, hit me up. I'll talk to you some stuff about crypto. I do suggest before you invest any type of real money, like anything substantial, anything over 20 bucks, you should understand the project that you're getting involved in. You should understand why you want to invest in crypto and what your end goal is. So I hear a lot of people wanting to hodl. They want to hold forever. And holding forever just seems like a bad investment because everything will go to zero at the end. You know, I've made the mistake where I've had comic books or toys, and I've just held them too long, and I missed that peak of the price. And so you can either wait for that peak to come back, or you can take that money and have you use it for the next purpose. So if you're going to buy crypto and you're going to invest and you're going to try to make money, you need to figure out what your goal is, why you're doing it. Me, I'm doing it for the farm, and so that I can expand my empire, so that I can start offering more options. I can pick up another house, I can maybe build some stuff, I can buy land in other places, and I can have multiple pharmacies, multiple institutes going on, and so I can actually like have a staff and hire people or have people that are skilled that want to teach stuff. That's why I'm getting into crypto, is to take my vision and just expand it further. Hence the reason every year I take some of my crypto and I buy certain assets that the farm needs, like my bees. All the years that I've been buying bees, my bees have always been bought with crypto. bring you guys over here because these are the guys I'm feeding now. And in most cases, yeah, that's the trick. You just kind of have to learn. You just kind of have to buy and sell. You're never going to catch the top, and you're never going to catch the bottom. So you kind of look for it to level off a little bit. I'm going to do a class in the future showing some people how, like, we'll pick a coin. Maybe we'll do Litecoin or something like that because it's very volatile one day. And I'll show you the peaks and the drops and how to buy in, and how it's a lot of math, but it's also psychology. And it's also psychology tricking yourself. You want to make sure you're not so nervous about selling that you want every penny. You need to not be a Jew, and you need to not Jew yourself out of money, but you also need to be to the point where you need to be able to be a little bit of a risk taker. You need to be able to take a gamble. And if you see a way to jump in and you're just like, man, this is a good time to jump in and make a little bit of profit and then jump out because maybe it's moved a couple dollars, like, figure out what your fees cost, figure out what you're happy with. So if you make, it's a good day when I can buy and sell, and after I paid for my fees and such like that, it's a good day when I've made like 20, 25 bucks. So I normally try to make somewhere between $300 to $400 a day, but sometimes I'm really busy and I'll just jump in for an hour or so. I'll play a little bit of crypto. I'll do some buys and some sells in there. I'll put some crazy buys and some sells in, and I'll make some money. So if I know I'm not going to be playing for a while, I'll put some crazy highs and some crazy lows. I'll figure out like what would be the equivalent of making like $100 a day, and I'll have it on there for like 4 days. So I'll have like a $400 price swing, and try to pick it up like that. So even if it goes $500, I wasn't sitting there watching. My stop orders are in there, and so sometimes I play that route too. No, I'm not making 25, 50 off big positions. Well, it depends on what you mean by big positions. So, I usually try to make 25 or $50 a day off of maybe having about $3,000 in the market playing. So, because I don't usually keep too much in the market playing, just because I want to hold on to some of that. And again, I don't like to have more than $5,000 on one particular exchange, just in case something crazy happens, because the last thing I want would be hacked. So when I make so much money off of that exchange, I pick that cryptocurrency and then I move that over to a cold wallet. And if my balance, which has happened in the past, if my balance drops really low, I'll then take that off of that wallet and I'll put it back onto the exchange. But most of the time, I usually roughly keep on the exchanges that I'm playing. I usually keep about $3,000 per exchange. So I by no means am a big player. I don't take, most of my gambles are calculated. I've taken big gambles in the past, and I've had I've failed. Like my biggest gamble right now is salt. Like I bought $2,000 worth of salt, and I currently, without selling any of my salt coins, I currently have like $100 in salt. So that coin has kicked my ass. Yeah, I just haven't had, we're trying to get some stuff finished around, here, and I just haven't had that good amount of time, because if I'm really going to sit down and focus on like a day of trading, I'm going to spend about 4 or 5 hours right in front of the computer with some coffee, without anybody coming and bothering me, with some other windows open so I can be reading what's happening on Twitter. I can be watching what's happening on the news, and then I can be doing some, I can be doing some intense trading. And that's actually probably the best way to show you what I kind of do every day. So like most every day, I jump across Twitter. I follow a handful of people that talk about certain cryptos. And if they say something that triggers my attention, I might go look at the coins more. I'll go and look at the coins a couple times throughout the course of the day. If I've got a trade-in, I have alarms set on my phone so that if we reach those trade-ins, and then I also have some alarms on my phone, so if the coins skyrocket or if the coins crazy drop, I've got triggers on my phone to let me know. And I mean, I'm talking like right now I have a Bitcoin. My Bitcoin alert is set at 45,000, and my bottom Bitcoin set at 10. So like I'm talking extreme spins on that kind of stuff. Because I know if it does anything between those, I'm not really that concerned right now because I'm not really doing that much trading in the Bitcoin. But I have that with a lot of the coins that I'm playing around with. I've been talking to different people. I know how some of the bots function, and so I've been trying to learn more about how to play the psychology around the bots. Because bot psychology is, you got to figure out who programmed that bot, and bot psychology is also really fun. Because if it's a really greedy person, then they're willing to only take, they're looking to take certain types of profits. If they're not a greedy person, then that's a little bit harder, and you just play around with things of that sort. So, but like I said, I've been focusing on. There's been other things been going on the farm right now. Me and Lisa right now is focusing a lot. We're focusing a lot on right now about what seeds we're going to start growing, seeing what we're going to think about growing inside. I'm still trying to get everything together so we can start teaching. So I can teach a kombucha class on here. We can teach a real simple class on how to make a sourdough bread, and just trying to reorganize things. January is my slower time. It's kind of time I give a little bit more to myself because during the spring, summer, and fall, not only am I busy here on the farm, but it's when I actually go out and do a lot of my mission work, when I work with the churches, when we focus on trying to help the different people that need help in the area, when I do some of the stuff with the parks that I work with. So I'm on the board of 2 state parks, so I do stuff helping the parks and such. So my spring, summer, and fall, I keep myself real busy. I try to get involved in the community. I try to be an active person. I try to do everything I preach about doing. So, Sunglass Bear, or a Sun Bear Glasscraft. So, I moved down from, I was a city kid, so I grew up in the city. I lived in the suburbs. I moved here 15 years ago to restore an old house. And, about 5 years into restoring that old house here in the middle of nowhere. So I live in Appalachia. I live in a southern West Virginia town called Flat Top. So after running my bed and breakfast for 5 years, I have 33 acres. I started noticing that it was just easier for me to grow a lot of the stuff I wanted here to feed my guests. So I started getting chickens. I started working out deals with some of the local people around. And then that evolved to, well, if I can do this, then I can do this. And so every step we just kept moving closer and closer to figuring out what we were going to do next. So we started off with chickens, and we were using chickens for the eggs. Not only was it saving time for running into town, and eggs were a main staple of what we were serving for breakfast, but there was also people wanting to buy the eggs off of us. So the chickens were definitely paying for themselves. The guests loved being able to have that kind of stuff. So we started off with that. Then we did some trading for some guineas, because I really like guineas. They're really good protection animal. They're what's really annoying you can hear in the background right now. We picked up some guineas. So, from the guineas, we then evolved into ducks, and the ducks have a whole different other benefit stuff. If you decide to move to West Virginia, there's definitely perks to Tennessee and West Virginia. But if you decide to move to West Virginia, hit me up. My phone number is actually easy to find. If you just follow the links around through my Mavis Institute, that's actually my personal phone number you guys can find. Or you can hit me up on Discord, !Discord, and we can chat through that way. But started off, moved to ducks. Ducks have a whole nother benefit to have onto the homestead. And then once we had that, we realized that we had a lot of soil being built. And so we had to really build up our soil. So then we put in some fruit trees, and I started putting in some ponds, and we're just slowly moving along the way. 5 years ago, I was actually a lot more sustainable. I'm a lot more self-reliant, a lot more sustainable. Life got in the way. Life got in the way, and it rolled me back. So I'm back to closer to only being like 20% sustainable, where at one particular point we were closer to like 80% sustainable. But again, that's something that you just accept, ebb and flow. Don't ever punish yourself for going backwards, and understand that it's important to make sure that you want to live a luxurious life. You don't want to live a life in misery. So you just got to find that ebb and flow. You got to find out what's best, where you got to move forward, where you got to back up, depending on your life scenarios. So I can tell you my first most important thing that I can tell anybody that wants to get into homesteading is you need to know your land. So after you buy your land, you need to spend some time. You need to get to know that land. You get to let it tell you what you want. That's why I'm a permaculturist. That's why I teach people permaculture. That's why we focus on permaculture. It's working with nature instead of against it. And your land will tell you, your land will tell you what is best for you to grow there. And so you just have communications with your land. Now, if you want to add something more to that land, then you figure out what that's lacking. So maybe you want to add bunnies, maybe you want to add ducks, and maybe you have a little stream but you lack a pond. But maybe it rains enough so that you can actually make a new pond. The land's going to tell you all this. You're just going to have to observe it. You're just going to have to think. You're going to know what crops. You're going to see over a couple years of documenting everything down that you try to grow. Always try to grow something different than you've never grown before. Some things will absolutely exceed your expectations and will be spectacular, and you will be absolutely shocked. Other things will fail, and you're just like, well, that's not a good thing to grow. But have that all written down. Have what the weather's like written down, and then you'll know what you can grow. Then if you're going to try to sell that stuff outside of your town, try to grow something that no one else in your community is growing. Something that is a niche market, and that'll actually help you generate some revenue that way. And again, that's why we're also talking about crypto. Crypto is another way to generate revenue and things of that sort. And then if you're going to have animals on your farm, your number one most important thing, if you're going to have any type of animals on your farm, is your fencing. You need to have high quality, the best fencing that you can afford to get at the time, and you need to start like mapping out stuff. If you have a friend with a drone, fly a drone up over your property and take some shots looking down. If you can't do that, jump on Google Maps, figure out your property, and just start sketching out things. And do that every year. So me and Lisa, we sketch out where we're going to put things every year. Sometimes we go back and we're just like, yeah, that just didn't work because this, that, and the other, or we got a new animal, or something else changed on the farm, and so we didn't get to continue on with that particular plan. But then what we've also done is, because we write everything down every year, we went back and we're just like, oh yeah, 5 years ago, we talked about putting something here, and now time has, and even though we thought we were going to do this, that, and the other, it actually makes sense to put this back with our 5-year plan back into that particular spot. And so it's just, and so that's why it's good to write everything down, because you then know what you were already thinking. And if a spot's more than once decides it wants to have that particular object, then you know that that's probably a really good spot to put things. And homesteading can be done in really small increments. It's not something that you need to just jump right into. A lot of people just jump gung-ho right into homesteading, and they fail. And they're just like, well, why did I fail? And the reason is you didn't actually know enough. You didn't have a good support group, and you didn't actually know enough. And it's not an insult at any means. It's just you don't know what you don't know. Like, there is a lot of stuff that when I first started homesteading, I didn't know I didn't know. I didn't know that was an important thing to know about, And so, you learn more, you find good people to be around. Again, I'm here. You guys can, especially if you're going to go with the Tennessee, West Virginia area, I can help you with the plants. I can help you with animals. I can help you with a bunch of different stuff that I can, and actually you won't even really be that far away, that if you need to come here and you want to learn some stuff, or if you want me to bring you some animals, I'll be able to help you out with that too. So I got an excess of bunnies right now, so always looking to help some good people out with wanting to get in the homestead and give them some bunnies. So Let me keep fitting this, guys, while we're talking. And you know, and again, that's the whole reason. Yeah, the mantra. I know that you as an Aussie don't like the bunnies, but a lot of us do like bunnies. Yeah, that's chickens and rabbits. As they get really loud, chickens and rabbits are good starter animals. Absolutely. On the Discord, I'm pretty sure it's under the farming section. There's a whole things about paddocks, the guinea. What you hear really loud right there, what you hear going really loud right now, those are actually the guineas. So that's what guineas sound like for those that might want to know. But I even raised chickens when I lived in the suburbs. So even when I was a suburb city kid, I raised chickens. So I know a whole lot about raising chickens. I used to raise what we called pirate chickens because we weren't allowed in our suburb to have chickens. So Lematra, I agree. I used to have a horse. It was just a horse I got into trade. Actually, it was a horse that someone dumped on my property. They didn't want anymore. But yeah, horses. If you have them for a reason, G'day. If you have the horses for a reason, there's a whole lot of benefits to having horses. They're really, really useful. The other thing that's really important that I suggest is once you start homesteading, start documenting everything that you possibly can think about documenting. Now, some of it will fall to the wayside and you'll realize it's not as important to document, but it's always nice knowing, like I know exactly how much feed we use every year. I know what my feed costs. I usually know how many eggs we get. I know how many animals we have, so... So what we'll be getting next instead of horses, we'll actually be getting Jerusalem donkeys. I like the donkeys. Donkeys have a lot of, there's a lot of other benefits of having a donkey over a horse. And I really, really dig them. Plus, if you breed them properly, there's some pretty good money in breeding. And regardless of what you're going to do with your animals, always consider a breeding program as a way to generate some extra revenue. Because even if you decide you're not going to sell them, you can do a lot of great trading with people for other things that you might need. And, like, you know, once you have an excess of something, you know, you'd be surprised where you might think that it's not a fair trade for a rabbit for a chicken, or, you know, a couple rabbits for a horse, or a couple rabbits for a goat. But you'd be surprised if someone's really wanting a handful of rabbits. If someone wants a handful of rabbits, you'd be surprised what they'll trade stuff for, especially if they have an excess of something. So I always try to have the best quality or be able to answer all the questions people have about the different animals. So some of our chickens that we raise are heritage breeds. So the purpose of raising them is to preserve that heritage. So... Okay, so now I need to switch over. Now that we got everybody fed in here, I need to switch over to the water and get everybody watered. So Sorry it's so loud in here right now. I'm not sure how much the phone's picking up and how deafening it is for you guys. It's really deafening for me. So. And I know that sometimes this phone really picks up stuff. As soon as I get my new phone, which should be coming, I don't know, next couple weeks, I'm actually going to be going back and professionally micing myself again, because that seemed to work really well, and then it just picks up me over most of the other noises. While the ambience of the barn is really nice, and this is what it would be like if you were here, I can imagine it is probably a little... Oh, so another thing, if you're still here, something else is, I always, if you can hear the radio playing in the background and you see the LED lights, every barn I have has LED lights and has a radio playing. The bunny barn does, the handy run does where the ducks live, even the chicken apartments, even the bunny apartments out there, they all have radio and LED lights. And I've learned that radio and LED lights do a wonderful job of keeping most predators away. So it doesn't completely stop it, but it slows it down. So skunks are really the only thing I have to worry about now. They don't seem to be as afraid of the LED lights and the radios, but I don't got to worry about foxes, raccoons. I don't worry about a lot of the other stuff. And what we've lost to predators is very minimal. And I'll show you what the radio is. So I just buy these cheap little $10 radios on Amazon. They actually have, because I want them to play the music I want them to play, so I just have SD cards in them. And they just plug in, they last long, they're fairly waterproof. The other perk of these is they have built-in flashlights, and a built-in flashlight in a barn is always useful. But yeah, about 10 bucks I get these. And then the LED lights, I just pick up them at the end of Christmas, or I just get on Amazon and find some cheap, or get on Walmart, or just look around wherever if you can find some cheap LED Christmas lights. And then I just throw them some cheap LED Christmas lights. Okay, let me, you guys want to see what's been around my feet the whole time we've been. So, this is what it looks like under my feet. Is we got chickens, or we got ducks and guineas and chickens. These are Muscovies. So Muscovies are very interesting ducks. The great thing about Muscovies is you can keep multiple males together, and short, minus a little bit during their teenage years. Once they're past their teenage years,